Hello. We are in Genesis chapter 20. Now, last time we were talking about the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. And now this is the story of Abraham and Abimelech. Verse 1. From there, Abraham journeyed toward the territory of Negeb and lived between Kadesh and Shur. And he sojourned in Gerar. And Abraham said of Sarah his wife, "She is my sister." And Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah. So we can see that Abraham behaved the same way he did in Egypt, where he sort of told a non-truth, saying that Sarah was his sister, not his wife. Now, you can sort of come to the conclusion that, as I've said it when we were talking about the story of in Egypt, that Abraham didn't, when he learned about God, when he became God's friend, which is the meaning of Abraham, he didn't have his faith, which he was famous for. And of course it's good because then it shows that we are not supposed to have that unbelievable faith that some of these heroes had, but that they had to go through a journey. They had to grow in their faith, because if you think about it, the relationship with God is a journey, and it's a journey whereby you have ups and downs. You see beautiful vistas. You see hell, if you will. You see horrible things. You experience great joy. You experience great depth and happiness and everything in between. So, but we can learn about God. We can grow in our faith. We can learn to trust Him, to rely on Him. But like I said, it's a long journey, and sometimes you have periods in your life when your faith is at an all high, but then sometimes you feel like you don't have any. It's like I said, it's ups and downs. You have periods when you can feel the presence of God, where you're really close. Then you have moments or times in your life when you feel you're far from God. I think whenever you feel like God is close to you, or God is far, or you feel like you have a lot of faith, or you feel like you don't, I think you always have your trust. You can always trust in God, and even if you don't feel His presence, if you feel like you're far from God, if you feel like you don't hear from Him, or you don't have His presence, you can always look in yourself and see if there's anything in you. You can ask God to show you if there's an issue in your life. You know that He promised you that He's going to save you from that, so you can always have the trust. Verse 3. But God came to Abimelech in a dream by night and said to him, "Behold, you are a dead man because of the woman whom you have taken, for she is a man's wife." Now Abimelech had not approached her. So he said, "Lord, will you kill an innocent people? Did He not Himself say to me, 'She is my sister'? And she herself said, 'He is my brother.' In the integrity of my heart and the innocence of my hands, I have done this." Then God said to him in the dream, "Yes, I know that you have done this in the integrity of your heart, and it was I who kept you from sinning against me. Therefore I did not let you touch her. Now then, return the man's wife, for he is a prophet, so that he will pray for you, and you shall live. But if you do not return her, know that you shall surely die, you and all who are yours." So Abimelech rose early in the morning and called all his servants and told them all these things. And the men were very much afraid. Then Abimelech called Abraham and said to him, "What have you done to us? And how have I sinned against you, that you have brought on me and my kingdom a great sin? You have done to me things that ought not to be done." And Abimelech said to Abraham, "What did you see that you did this thing?" Abraham said, "I did it because I thought there is no fear of God at all in this place, and they will kill me because of my wife." Besides, she is indeed my sister, the daughter of my father, though not the daughter of my mother, and she became my wife. And when God caused me to wander from my father's house, I said to her, this is the kindness you must do to me. At every place to which we come, say of me, he is my brother. So he was scolded by a non-believer or someone who wasn't as close to God, who God didn't call his friend, which is what Abraham means, friend of God. And also, it happened to me, and I think it can happen in anyone's life, where you behave in a way that is not worthy of you as a Christian, as a believer, as a follower of Christ. And I have actually been scolded by non-believers, because there were situations where they actually behaved better than me. And I think in a sense it is a good thing, because it helps keep you grounded. You know that you're not better than others in a sense that you still commit sinful acts. You are still not there. Because like Paul said in 1 Corinthians, Jesus became everything so that we might not boast in the presence of God. So we have nothing to boast about. We are sinful, but we are saved because of the grace of God. And like I said, there are situations in our lives when we miss the mark. That's what sin means. When we miss the mark, we don't behave like we should behave, but it gives us a chance to grow. It gives us a chance to reflect on our behavior. And although, yes, Christians can go through a huge transformation, I think in life, people do change. But if you look at Christians have the ability to go through unbelievable transformation. You can literally go from being, I know people who were alcoholic, drug addicts, and now they went through unbelievable transformation, or gangsters went through unbelievable transformations. You can do all these things and you can really change. I watched a documentary once with a gangster, and he was in a mafia. And yes, he was in jail, he did his time, but he said that, look, I'm not a good man, don't talk to me, you think I'm cool, but no, I'm not a great guy. I'm still a horrible person. You just think I'm cool, but you don't know what's going on with me, or the things I think. But if you look at I hear stories and read stories of people who were gangsters and were in gangs, and the transformation they went through was completely different. They have this inner peace, they have this love, this joy, this happiness. They can really, really love people, and they would die for you. It's just unbelievable. And of course, you can see that Abraham's faith had to increase. He had to get closer to God. He had to grow in his faith, which is what we have to do. We have to learn to grow in our faith. We have to learn to rely on God. We have to learn to be where we are in God, even though it seems that He is not there, because that might be a test. That might be an opportunity for us to grow. I had a horrible week last week, and that's when I found that, yes, although sometimes it can feel that God is not in a situation, He is there and He can help you, or you can actually stay where you are, and it does give you an opportunity to grow. And of course, said He's my brother, half truth is never truth. Although something interesting occurred to me, that God did not allow Abimelech to touch Sarah, which makes you wonder how much of a free will you have actually got, or if God can influence your free will. That would make an interesting conversation. Verse 14. Then Abimelech took sheep and oxen and male servants and female servants and gave them to Abraham, and returned Sarah his wife to him. And Abimelech said, Behold, my land is before you, dwell where it pleases you. To Sarah he said, Behold, I have given you your brother 1,000 pieces of silver. It is a sign of your innocence in the eyes of all who are with you, and before everyone you are vindicated. Then Abraham prayed to God, and God heard Abimelech. and also healed his wife and female slaves so that they bore children. For the Lord had closed all the wombs of the house of Abimelech because of Sarah, Abraham's wife. Nothing can thwart the plan of God He has in your life. So you can rest assured that whatever God has in store for you is going to happen. I think the only thing you have to worry about is this, that you stay in His presence, because then whatever plans He has in store for you will come true. And you know, somebody might end up in a horrible situation, and we don't know why these things are, although the Bible seems to indicate that even if you're in a horrible situation, even if there is no release from that horrible situation, that you can still grow and increase your faith. And at the end of the day, God will, He will remember you. He will remember the way you behaved, and He will remember how much faith you had in Him and how much trust you had in Him. Amen.